You have time to buy the kind of players you want.
Okay, let's check in again on the North-East London derby between Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham, and it's finished there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The light for the Hammers and distraught for Spurs as their players collapsed to the ground. Mikel Antonio, the goal scorer there in the second period. The difference in the game. Manuel Pellegrini's men have taken all 3 points against Tottenham, and now the fight for the top 4 continues. Spurs still remain in third position on 70 points ahead of a huge game on Sunday that would see Manchester United take on Chelsea. A win for the Blues might put them in third ahead of Spurs. Okay, let's still stick with what happened during the week and talk about La Liga Santander there. Atletico Madrid winning in a high-scoring game against Valencia, 3-2, just delaying Barcelona's title celebrations for a while.
Yes, we did talk about this during the week as well, and it seemed as though Barcelona will just bite their nails hard, really hard, you know, just to see that they get that one through. But I don't think it's far-fetched if I say that Barcelona are on the brink of another win here. It's smelling, so to say. It seems very close. Were there not any competition from Atletico Madrid, those are the closest rivals. They are 9 points adrift of the league leaders in Barcelona right now. So what are the possibilities of Atletico Madrid bridging this gap and, you know, closing up? How many games are left? You know, can you do you possibly think Barcelona will lose, you know, those points? And I think there's been a resurgence in the talisman in, you know, Lionel Messi, who's been on fire very recently, and he might just, you know, surpass the original records that he set for himself.
Yeah, it's all about the management, isn't it? Ernesto Valverde has been able to select the games for Lionel Messi to partake in. In some of the games, he's had to sit on the bench.
Just like what Zinedine Zidane did with Cristiano Ronaldo in the last season that paid off eventually.
Adeze?
Well, I think at some point, people felt, okay, Lionel Messi is too quick. Probably if he gets to his 30s, he may have a slow rundown of games. He may be too weak to make the runs. But he's a very intelligent player. If he notices that, man, everybody's after me, they want to give me a kick, they want to knock me down, he becomes a playmaker. I set, if I that set a Luis Suarez up, or a Dembele, or a Coutinho, drops deep now and play as a number 10, you know. I think it's a good one for Lionel Messi. And we hope to see more of this Lionel Messi in the coming season. He's just 32 years of age.
What about Atletico Madrid? Okay. Suspending Barca's celebration for a while. It was a crazy game at the Wanda Metropolitano against Valencia.
Diego Simeone is a fighter. And he said that he's going to fight till the very end, that he's never going to say die until the last minute. I knew Valencia were going to put them a good fight, but Atletico Madrid held on because they feel there could just be a miracle somewhere that Barcelona would just spot the chance. But I said it earlier, David, then some weeks back, that looks like Barcelona were running away with the title, and that is what it is, because Atletico Madrid, during the middle of the season, fumbled, got some draws, didn't really win when they're supposed to win. So Barcelona were capitalizing on that and amassing the 3 points. And look at where they are today. And they're clear favorites to win the title. Not even now, weeks back.
Okay. But if you had to look at Atletico Madrid and Valencia, would you have said originally that Valencia would have been, you know, tough not to crack for Atletico Madrid? Valencia poses, you know, a great threat to them. They've got great players in Daniel, Pedro, Kelvin, and, you know, the rest of them. But, you know, comparing them with Diego Simeone's words, the antecedents.
Well, head-to-head, they were, when it comes head-to-head, they're almost, the head-to-head records are almost equal. They're usually it's usually even when Atletico Madrid come up against Valencia. But you see, that night, I think I was going to go for a draw. But for Atletico Madrid to come through, that means they use the game to make a statement. Barcelona were not going to throw in this title. You may look the favourites, but we're going to fight till the very end. That was what they did.
And safe in the knowledge that Valencia had a lot to play for to try and move into the top 4. They've started picking up from off late, talking about lost chair. The season they are having now is a far cry to what they had the last time out there with Marcelino. And this season, it's been a season of struggles. They've only picked from the second half of the season here. So a thrilling game ended 3-2 in favor of Atletico Madrid. So 4 to go, 9 the difference between the Blaugrana and Los Colchoneros. It will go down to the wire here. 4 games left to play there in the Spanish La Liga Santander. Who knows, maybe this weekend Barcelona may just be crowned champions. Okay, it was all about the DFB Pokal Cup semi-finals. There, first off, RB Leipzig were away at Hamburger. They sealed that one 3-1 to qualify for the final. And Bayern Munich 3-2 against Werder Bremen in a high-scoring affair at the Weser Stadion. So it leaves us with the final of Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig. Judging from how they've gone about their business this season, Bayern nowhere to be found, but all of a sudden topping the Bundesliga, making changes, Niko Kovac there. Borussia Dortmund were topping all the way until Bayern Munich now took over after their solid win against Die Schwarz-Gelben. In a final against a big side that you do not really know what to get this season, Leipzig came into the top flight and surprised many by the way they played their football, beating the big teams. But this season, they've continued to shine, but you can't compare it to the last time out. How do you see the final going?
Well, I think it's a cup game. Let's not forget, it's not a league fixture that you say, okay, Bayern Munich will come on top. Leipzig will say they've worked so hard to come, they've come so far, not to just lose like that. I think they're going to give Bayern Munich a very, very good run for their money. And let's not forget that Leipzig, they pose a lot of quality players that can hurt you on a very good day. And you can't take it away from the fact they've also got a great manager that can pull up a very, very good tactics come that day.
Well, for me, I would like to take it back to that game between Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich, because looking at both teams, you think Werder Bremen should match up just a little bit because of the home advantage, but Bayern Munich are a very traditional side, and they went away, picked up the points, and then they are going to face RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig has stood out in the recent season. Before now, 2-3 seasons ago, they're not a team that you could, probably look at and they would actually strike a chord. Tell you, okay.
They had to gain some promotions, I think about 4 in 7 seasons, backed by Red Bull, the power of Red Bull there to come to the Bundesliga.
So you can understand, clearly where I'm coming from with this. But if you look at the score lines between Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich, you know that it was more like a goal fest. 5-goal thriller in that particular encounter. Werder Bremen scoring 2 out of 5 of those goals. It means they brought so much to the party. They wanted to stay on, and at this point in time, it's a big deal for Bayern Munich. It's more like bragging rights. For RB Leipzig, it is a statement that they will want to make. Werder Bremen had tried to make theirs, considering, the game they had played against Bayern Munich. But going forward, can Rasenballsport Leipzig hold on to, what they've been able to achieve in this recent seasons, currently sitting 3rd on the log, and they're going to be facing the league toppers. But this is a different competition, you would say. But these are the same teams. They've probably met themselves a couple of times. They know how these players play. But with Lewandowski and the other boys still very much in form and on fire, I'm thinking Bayern Munich would give our big Leipzig something to talk about.
Well, we all thought that until Eintracht Frankfurt did the unthinkable, winning first trophy in a long while as Niko Kovac's men, then coach of Frankfurt, ran out 3-1 winners against Bayern Munich. So all roads will be leading to Berlin, the Olympiastadion, for that final between Bayern Munich and Rasenballsport Leipzig later in the month of May. Okay, now to the Coppa Italia. It has gone down to the last 4. Atalanta did beat Fiorentina 2-1. And of course, AC Milan at the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza fell to Lazio by 1-0. Let's look at Atalanta this season. They've been on fire, haven't they?
Yes, most definitely. They have been on fire. And if you look at that game against Fiorentina, I think it was very easy for them to have run away with that. Scoreline's not doing them so much of good, considering the ball possessions and the inputs they made in the game. But congratulations to them. It's like a step forward in the Coppa Italia. But the number of yellow cards that came in that particular game, of course, we did see a penalty which made them level up. We haven't seen the first goal come very early in the game, as early as the 3rd minute. But they were able to level up and went on to win the game, just before the stroke of the 70th minute. Fiorentina, Atlanta side by side. Atlanta held on to the game more. They made more impact, but it seems as though that the luck wasn't on Florentino's side. Having gone ahead, as early as they did, but threw away the chances that they got in that game.
Okay, let's wrap it up from football now, because we had the big one last night on Friday Night Football at Anfield. A whitewashing of already relegated Huddersfield Town. And so Manchester City, who play on Sunday away at Burnley, are now looking to get to the top of the table again, as Liverpool has taken control again after this 5-0 victory against the Terriers.
The way the goals were coming, they came in torrents as early as the first minute. The second, 23rd, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 66th, and 7 minutes before stoppage time, they were still scoring. Mohamed Salah has, pushed his goal tally. This is the kind of goal that, the Harry Kane does score towards the end of the season. David, you and I were talking the other day. The Harry Kane could probably just put 4 or 5 goals on the last match day, and he wins man of the match, highest goal scorer of the season.
He would love it better if he comes up against Huddersfield Town.
I know, right? But sadly, Huddersfield Town could not match the firepower of Jurgen Klopp's side, and that was last night's encounter. Sadio Mane with a brace, Salah with another, and it was Keita that, more or less punctured the hole in the wall.
Who can stop this man, Keita? He's been getting very significant goals lately. We saw how he was bought from just we talked about RB Leipzig in Germany. That's where they got him from, even a year before, thinking that he was going to be a playmaker, something that looks like Coutinho that left. But he came, he stuttered a little bit, he saw the bench. Jurgen Klopp knew he wasn't really ready to make that starting lineup, kept him and taught him how to play English football. But the young man has repaid the faith now. He's been getting significant goals, and these goals, they come quite early. Last night wasn't the first time he scored early goals for Liverpool. He's been doing that, and when he does that, he goes ahead to spoil his side, and they get the victory. Last night was fantastic. It was what everybody wanted. You can't take away the fact that Jurgen Klopp has done a lot in this Liverpool side. Apart from the middle, the wingers, the left-back wingers, are also producing the assists. I mean, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, these guys are wonderful. They are going to run and make very, very great assists that can help the side. It was a very good game, good one for Liverpool, and they all set their hope now on Sean Dyche to do the damage for them. The tweets have been going on, mind games have been going on, social media banters. Everybody's hoping Sean Dyche could do them a favor to see if they can cling on to the title.
There's one man who I want to talk about, Sturridge. His inclusion in that game, what would you really say about, the impact he's made? He's not been very, very integral to, the recent successes.
He was included because Firmino developed a muscle injury.
Yeah.
He was deputizing for an injured Firmino, and he didn't do bad. At least he had 1 or 2 good link-up plays last night. But you can't take away the fact they missed Firmino. Firmino is that unsung hero. In fact, a dedicated Liverpool player. He loves the club so much. In fact, they even nicknamed him Bobby. That's what they call him at Liverpool. He's a very, very good player. And yes, they won, but they missed his movement. Very complete player for Liverpool. Wonderful striker. Even if he's not scoring, he's helping Sane get the goals, Mane get the goals. He's also helping Salah to get the goals. They missed him last night. Sturridge didn't do badly, if you ask me. A wonderful player. Got them a point at Stamford Bridge, you can't forget that. Chelsea, they were thinking they were home and dry. He came in and scored that wonderful, stunning goal that Chelsea fans, I'm sure, the pain must not have. It has not left them. And they got that 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge.
Okay, precautionary measure taken there on Bobby as Barcelona awaits Liverpool in the Champions League first leg semi-final at Camp Nou on Wednesday. But Daniel Sturridge, a man who has visited the treatment room, still being included by Jurgen Klopp. They're talking about that absolute beauty he scored in the 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season. They're in the Premier League, but Liverpool firmly in control. 5-0 success against Huddersfield Town last night in the Premier League. Let's look at other results quickly before we look at Africa and Nigeria, to be precise. In the German Bundesliga, Augsburg won Bayer Leverkusen 4. That it finished there, and of course in the French Ligue 1, Bordeaux 2, Lyon 3. So Lyon trying to push up for a place in the Champions League come the end of the season. Let's come down now to Africa and look at Nigeria. There were some league games played. Rangers International falling to Bendel Insurance 2-1. The first meeting in a long while, both of these teams.
Yes, I think they've not met in the last decade because Bendel Insurance themselves, they were not in the league. And fans expected that the game would hold on Wednesday and for the game to be moved to the next day. And there was no reason. There was no communication from the LMC. In fact, there were videos that were captured. The fans actually came to the stadium to watch this game. They were not communicated. They were absolutely livid and they went back home. And this is what happens in our league. I don't know who the organizers of these leagues are. They're not doing well. You should, when you cancel a match, there should be a reason. There should be probably a memo or something. This is why we're canceling this match. There was no real reason whatsoever for the game to be cancelled, and the fan had to come back the next day. Probably there was not even an apology. There should be an apology from the state FA. We are sorry this game can't hold. Probably to hold on so day, but there was no communication whatsoever. I myself was trying to see if I could follow up. There was no news. There was no update. I was on LMC's Twitter handle for almost 3 hours, thinking probably maybe they must have shifted the game by hours, but there was no news for us to see that the game had been played the next day. That is a very, very sad and pathetic one from LMC.
Well, she said it all. TC, shameful to say the least.
Well, we're just going to move on this discussion to, the discussion segment so that we can look at the intricacies. Why will the referees abandon the game? Why will the game not, the team not receive sanctions?
Not starting from the match commissioner. He needs to give the go-ahead.
We need to talk about all of these things and place them side by side and look at some of the issues.
Okay, now let's talk non-football stories, starting with tennis. It's all about the Barcelona Open in Sabadell and Rafael Nadal having seen off Jan-Lennard Struff in the quarterfinals into the semifinals. He will be up against Austrian's Dominic Thiem there. What has this tournament meant to you guys? It's the clay court tournament, and we all know Nadal's antecedents when it comes to clay court tournaments. But the last one, surprisingly, he was knocked out of that one. But this one, ATP World Tour 500, is into the semifinals. Let's talk about that game. He alongside Dominic Thiem to come later.
Well, it's a good one for Nadal. He has been able to shake off the injury that tried to mar his season, and he's going once again. In as much as he's king of the clay court, he's chasing the 12th record title of this particular clay court tournament. I think the opponents he's been having, for me, they've not really been giving him a go. Yes, he's been trying to come behind from other games, but I expected to see a tougher opponent that will give Nadal good run for his money. Probably he's been lucky getting opponents that he could come over. Let's see how it goes. He's the favorite to win an all-time record of 12, winning it for 12 times. Let's see how it goes. I think nobody can really stop this Nadal right now.
I can. I can. If you believe you can. Come on, what do you mean by that? But the truth about it is he's been outstanding and he's on course already to win that record. Going into the semis wasn't an easy deal. Let's not just look at it like, okay, he's the king of the clay court. He's just to move this, your baton back and forth. No, he is working really hard, and it's evident in the kind of play. He did struggle as well. We saw that in the early rounds in Barcelona. He lost a set at the event for the first time, in 4 years. But went on, to win Leonardo in that particular encounter. So we're going to be seeing him get better, I'm hoping, because for him to have gone through all of this and has gone into the semis, it's going to be a huge one. Watching him, take on that semis fixture, really.
Indeed, it's going to be a huge one there. Looking at Rafa Nadal up against Dominic Thiem there in the semi-final of the Barcelona Open. But let's look at the other semi-final that did take place and still ongoing at the moment. It's Kei Nishikori up against Russian's Daniil Medvedev there, 4-6, 6-3. 4-3 in the third set. So Medvedev leading in the third set against the Japanese sensation there. Nishikori falling in the first, taking the second. Medvedev right back on top. It's bang on there in Sabadell. Okay, now let's head straight to the track race and talk about the world of Formula One. It's all about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku there, and first practice on Friday, second practice, and now all of the car races, the drivers are in qualifying section there. What has played out this time around?
Well, looking at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, we're looking at serious crashes. You know, live reportage we're getting suggests there are very serious crashes going on in that particular practice there. Pictures that have surfaced on social media have seen where, you know, they try to lift up cars that has gone through. But the sun is shining, and when you go through a shaded area, you can see the apex across the tracks. And some point when the sun is on your face, you may not be able to see the edges properly. That probably could have caused some of the crashes, you know, being witnessed during this practice section. Now, the tires that are made for the top three cars were lapping 4 seconds off the pace, and somehow, according to George Russell, saying they just can't get them to work, and it's so difficult in cold conditions to get these crashes. So we're seeing a lot of crashes going on at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix practice sessions right now.
Indeed, it's all about qualifying there on the way on 5 Live Sports, and we'll just giving the coverage of it right here. But be sure to get more on the world of Formula One on Sports Trax on Monday morning, as we'll bring to you the winner as the race would be played out tomorrow there in the tracks of Baku. So let's give you a chance now to have your say on the show as we look at the PFA Team of the Year that was released during the week here. Surprising names on the list. A host of people have reacted to it differently, and it's time to get your own reactions to it. But first, I'll read out the players who have made the list for you and the formations. Well, the PFA went for a 4-3-3 formation. I'll start from the back. Edison Moraes made it in goal. Manchester City goalkeeper. At right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk in the central pairing. He's been a monster for the Reds this season, hasn't he? Emerick Laporte of Manchester City. Still learning his trade, but the way the man has put himself up this season has been unbelievable. Then Andrew Robertson at left back, the workhorse. In midfield, it's a pair of Bernardo Silva, indefatigable Portuguese player, Fernandinho, and Paul Pogba of Manchester United. Sadio Mane of Liverpool up top, alongside Sergio Aguero of Manchester City, and Raheem Sterling, who is having an unbelievable season for the citizens. So 4-3-3. I'll start with you guys very quickly before the phone lines open up here. A lot of fingers have pointed to Paul Pogba. But if you want to scrutinize this list, there are a host of other players you could say shouldn't be here. I don't know what the criteria was for picking up these players.
Well, I like some of us, you know, but particularly I was surprised to see Paul Pogba. Yes, there was when he had a very wonderful time. When Solskjaer came on board, the first 8 games, Pogba was unplayable. He was there driving his teammates, providing the assists, scoring the goals too. Some games he gets braced, you know, but we know how these things came. Earlier, before Mourinho's exit, Pogba was so horrible. You know, he was the bad egg in the dressing room. I didn't expect him to make that lineup. Probably there's no or enough central midfielders in the EPL. Probably that's why they chose him for the heroics he performed when Solskjaer was interim manager. But now Pogba has gone back to his old self, strolling around the pitch, and has come under huge criticism and scathing assessment from the likes of Robbie Keane and the rest of them. For me, he shouldn't have made that PFA Team of the Year. The rest, I think they deserve it. But Hazard, unanimously and obviously... Unanimously and obviously... Out of that, I don't know how he came on board. Yes, there's a Sterling that's been doing well, but I think Hazard should have gotten a space in this PFA Team of the Year. He has 16 goals and 13 assists. I mean, that is an incredible feat if you ask me. He should have made the cut. I don't know the criteria for the selection.
Well, Maurizio Sarri is also of the same argument, and he believes that Hazard should have gotten a chance. But one man who has retained his spot is Sergio Aguero. You have to give kudos to him for the level of consistency. But I cannot say the same for Paul Pogba, who you actually think, you know, does not deserve to be on this team. Because if you looked at it, I think his World Cup exploits, rubbed off.
In PFA Team of the Year, in the EPL.
Some of these things, you know, they're like intertwining.
Like, you know, I think
Because once he came back after the World Cup,
being in the scene,
he was on fire, really.
I think
You can't take that away.
For me, probably why they chose him, I think there's a paucity in central midfielder in the EPL. Because if someone had a better run, even in Burnley, they would have chosen the person. They have looked around. There's no central midfielder that can really match up to the PFA team of the year. Hence, they chose Paul Pogba. For me, he doesn't deserve the shot. The player that throws around pitch, undisciplined, and a very eccentric player, he doesn't.
Don't let Pogba catch you.
Let Adebayo have a say on this. Adebayo, Paul Pogba in the PFA team of the year in midfield 3 of Paul Pogba, Fernandinho, and Bernardo Silva. Do you think Pogba should have made it? First half of the season, nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, OGS comes in, Pogba reborn, 12 goals he scored in the Premier League, and a handful of assists, incredible performances.
Okay, I think personally, I have a thing for I decide I have. If I say I have a thing, it's on the positive side. That's what I'm trying to, you know, rack. You know, if I say I have a thing for Pogba, it's really on the positive side. I think I don't really like his courage. You know, he doesn't carry himself.
You're whipping up sentiment here.
No.
And for me, I wouldn't take it.
Okay,
sorry,
let's hear from the fans now. 0808-182-6949 or 08116052949. The numbers to call here on Sports Strat. The deliberation is that Paul Pogba, the French midfielder, does he deserve to be on the PFA? He was included there. And Eden Hazard, did he deserve to be left out? Let's get to hear from you.
Let's broaden the horizon. There was no room for Mohamed Salah. Emerick Aubameyang wasn't, nominated. Both have 19 goals. Harry Kane, despite the injury, has been, superb as well. So what happened to some of these players who, would have been in prolific form, this season, but didn't get a chance to?
If you look at the players that made the PFA team of the year, apart the 10 of them have been consistent for their club. Only Paul Pogba. Salah had a horrible season, or has had a horrible season. It's just these few remaining fixtures that he started scoring.
Did
goals.
you say Salah's had a horrible season?
Yes, if you ask me, compared to what he did last season. There's something
last season was on fire.
I think that's harsh on Salah.
It's not harsh because he sets a standard for himself.
Can you sit down, please? You're thinking
she wants to express herself. No, she wants to really express
He
herself.
set a standard for himself last year when he got 40 plus goals, and we expected that to continue.
In all.
At some point, he was even dubbed the Messi. Next Messi. Now, when you're not getting up to that feat you did last season, there will always be scathing assessment of you, and there will always be pressure. Salah has not had a wonderful season, if you ask me.
But the criticism of Mohamed Salah hasn't been fierce.
Sadio Mane that came and did the job for Liverpool. At some point, Salah disappeared in games. Defenders were all over him. They knew how they could read his game, and they stopped him and they kept him quiet. For me, he didn't deserve to go. If you look at the players that have made that PFA starting level, they have been consistent from the day one to the very minute they were named the PFA team.
Regardless, okay. I think consistency is a key, if you ask me. But I think for Salah, another question is, is that his breaking limit? Has he gotten to his breaking limit? These should be the questions that should begin to, come up. Then let's not also forget that defenders, like you rightly said, started clamping on him. Trying to grab him and trying to do all that. But the likes of Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo were able to get away from that, and they are always able to get away from that. And that's why, they are rated, or they've been placed where they are placed. For every other player, it might really not be the same.
But you cannot be inconsistent and still be one of the top scorers in the Premier League. Can you? You
can take advantage of the very few times you get, very few match times you get, and, go for the kill. Yes, you can do that. If you score 5 goals in a match or 3 goals in a match, and maybe mix the next 2-3 matches, don't score in the next 2-3 matches, your tally still goes.
Okay, let's look at Mohamed Salah now. 19 goals, 7 assists. The top man is Sergio Aguero of Manchester City. 19 goals, 8 assists. Only 1 assist more than Mohamed Salah. So how this player has been inconsistent and horrible this season
is what you don't know.
I don't understand that.
Well,
if you tell me the performance of last season, if you want to compare
that's
it to
where
that,
the comparison is coming
from. It has dropped a bit. I agree with you, but using the word horrible on Salah, I think that's harsh, and even Jurgen Klopp could go leave it for that.
He set a high standard for himself last season when he got that 40 plus goals.
And
now, we remember when in fact, Sadio Mane actually became the main man for Liverpool. And that is why I have to give credit to Jurgen Klopp. His team is not a one-man team. It's not like a certain club in London
Why is Mohamed Salah not on that list?
Yes, he doesn't deserve it because Mane has been the one that lifts his club from despondency. They had a horrible run of fixtures around December, January. But Sadio Mane was there, gave them 9 out of 10 goals. In 10 goals, Sadio Mane got 9, and Salah was nowhere to be found. I think Sadio Mane deserves. He deserves that very spot in the PFA team. Salah for me woke up quite late, and probably he will make it next season if he continues the fit. He's got 19 goals because it's EPL. If it were in La Liga, where the goal tallies could be 30-something, 40-something, 19 is poor compared to that.
It's only Lionel Messi who scores 30-something. And if you want to
Cristiano
add
Ronaldo also.
Or Luis Suarez in La Liga, the other players, do they come close? Absolutely not. So let's look at it now from this perspective. The top scorers here.
I think with the goals that Mohamed Salah scored against Liverpool, it's become 21 and no longer 19. From the games he scored yesterday against Huddersfield.
Yeah, from the goals he scored from 21 goals
now, 8 assists.
8 assists.
He has surpassed what Sergio Aguero has as he's the current top scorer.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to hear from this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you. What's your name?
Boy, I'm calling from Uman.
Team Boy Meji. Okay, go ahead quickly.
Yes, about the match between Chelsea and Man United.
You're predicting Chelsea to win?
Yes, 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming through on the show. Well, we have something up. It's a deliberation. Should Paul Pogba have been included in the PFA Team of the Year, and why is Eden Hazard absent from that list? Let's get to hear from you on that front. Put your calls coming through 0808 182 6949 or 081 2949. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, you're not ready for us. Please, if you were the one, put your calls right back. 0808 182 6949 or 081 2949. Mohamed Salah running away with it, 21 goals, 8 assists. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
My name is David Sean. I'm calling from Abaru.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I think that Paul Pogba is meant to be in the team of the EPL Team of the Year. He did that. He played a lot. He helped his team. He lifted up his team. And I don't think that Eden Hazard is meant to be part of it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks for coming through on the show.
He didn't give us a reason why, he felt Hazard should not be a part of that team.
Oh, I already cut him off there. Put your calls coming through. And let's talk about Eden Hazard's missing out on the PFA Team of the Year. Why wasn't he included? Why do you think he wasn't included in that list or on that list? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. It's Timboy. I called back.
Okay, Timboy, go ahead.
Okay, the omission of Eden Hazard from the PFA Team of the Year is very, very deliberate. But I didn't see Paul Pogba. He has not been at the best.
Okay.
So I think that Hazard should be on that team list, not even for Pogba. So
Okay.
I think it's political.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you. What's your name?
My name is Chris from Omaya.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I have quite a number of people who I think shouldn't make that list. Let me start from the goalkeeper first. The goalkeeper is not the lowest, is not the person with the highest number of clean sheets. I think Alisson deserves to be there more. Right? Then going to Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba has not been spectacular this season. And I heard one of your crew there saying that I think that there are so many midfielders there who deserve to be on that spot. Someone like Christian Eriksen, who I think has the highest.
Who's been pulling the
now,
strings? Yeah.
Who has the highest assist now in the Premier League? No, second highest assist, I think, after Hazard. So I think they are supposed to be there. And Hazard being missed out there, I have a number of reasons why he should be there. He's the person with the most number of contributions to a Premier League team. Now he has the highest number of man of the match, player of the match awards, and so many other reasons why he should be there. I don't think Mane or Sterling has made contribution to their team more than Hazard has done to Chelsea this season, despite their dismal record of form. So that's my take today.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, tell us your name and go ahead.
My name is John Wangoma. I am calling from Umuchiriki, Umeobo.
Okay.
Yeah, my take on that issue is that, EPFL, England in Premiership League, I think they play a lot of politics in that their league. That's the reason why they excluded Hazard and included Pogba in that league. I must say the truth. Where they organize their tennis is so confusing sometimes. So I don't really know. I can't tell. I don't understand why they included Hazard, who did very well and still do more. So I am totally confused. I don't really know what to say about it.
Okay. Thanks for coming on the show. He's confused and doesn't really know what to say. So Eden Hazard misses out, Paul Pogba included. Eden Hazard and Chelsea, he's led the lines for them at times this season, but it's not been an ideal season for the Blues. Inside of it, they've had some chaotic periods where they were badly beaten, Maurizio Sarri with the players and all whatnot. But ahead of an important game tomorrow against Manchester United, I think they'll need to put that behind them to come with their A game. And United themselves cannot be left out too, because it's been a horrible period for them in terms of fixtures and the losses they've accrued there. So a huge game to look forward to. We'll look at that game later when we do the live coverage. We'll build up to Manchester United and Chelsea. So it will be a moment out here on Sports Trax this weekend. When we come back, we'll be looking at the discussion segment and bring to the front burner what happened during the week as Christian Chukwu was visited by Femi Otedola, as well as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation in Amaju Pinnick. We'll talk about that and look at how the country has treated players who served them well in the years past. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
I'm celebrating, now I'm jubilating.